Hey everybody, what's good? Welcome back to yet another video as I nearly knocked over my lamp, which is the only thing bringing the lighting in this right now. Yeah, Q. What's going on? I'm Cody Lear. I do a lot of NFL videos, sports videos. I need to do more sports, but I don't know them as well, so I do this. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, today, we're going to do a quick recap of NFL Week 10, as I have decided that that would probably be a good idea. Yeah, let's get into it. Then let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders. They fell to the Denver Broncos. The final score was 10-7. Nothing really exciting. Raiders scored a touchdown in the first quarter with Ashton Jeanty, who ran a touchdown in 19 carries, 60 yards, and Broncos scored a touchdown in the second quarter with Bo Nix throwing a touchdown to, I believe it was Troy Franklin. And then they got a field goal in the third quarter, and it just, yeah, nothing really exciting happened from there. But yeah, no, Broncos are now 8-2 on the year. The Raiders are 2-7 because they have had themselves a bye week. Uh, pretty good, pretty good performance for both teams, I guess. Win or lose, the Broncos got the win. The Raiders, that's a more compelling matchup than I figured it was going to be. So I don't think you're completely hating it. You're still 2-7 on the year, so it's really not. Things aren't going great for you. I think the Raiders had to look at quarterback or offensive line really as their most important position coming forward. But there's still a couple games to play. They can still get a couple wins. It's not over just yet. But yeah, falling 10-7 to Denver. I mean, that's fair because they're a really top talented team. But it's tough. Now the Atlanta Falcons. They went to. I don't remember if they were in Germany. I believe it was Germany. They went to Germany to take on the Indianapolis Colts, where the Indianapolis Colts would win 31-25 in overtime. Yeah, this game was really just the Jonathan Taylor show. 32 carries, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. Daniel Jones went 19 for 26, 255, touchdown and an interception. Michael Penix threw one touchdown to Drake London. Bijan Robinson ran for 84 yards. Tyler Algier, I think it is. He ran 2 touchdowns in himself, so really, really good performance for him. Daniel Jones really wasn't the guy to write home about too much. He threw that one touchdown to Alec Pierce. I mean, he's still getting the really good numbers, so I don't think you can really complain. I know Taylor had like 42 yards receiving as well. Defensively, Daniel Jones got hit, I believe, it was 6 or 7 times, at least sacked altogether. Yeah, either way, they got away with it in overtime. They escaped, got themselves to 8-2 on the year. The Falcons, they fall to 3-6. Really not a start that I figured the Falcons would be on. I thought that they were going to be a team competing in the NFC South, but really, there's not a lot of teams competing in the NFC South. It seems like, but yeah, I guess we'll go there. The Cleveland Browns, they went on the road to the New York Jets, where they fell to the New York Jets 27-20. Really a game that's not too much to be talked about. No, not Jonathan. Dylan Gabriel, he threw 2 touchdowns, 7 for 32, 167 yards. Justin Fields went 6 for 11, 54 yards, touchdown and an interception. Brees Hall and Quinshon Judkins had pretty solid days, both with 75 plus yards. Jerry Jeudy, he caught a touchdown. Brees Hall caught a touchdown through the air as well. I believe it was David Njoku also caught a touchdown. Yes, it was David Njoku. Perfect. Sorry if you're hearing the tapping too much. I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible. But Brees Hall caught himself a touchdown, and I know there was a kick return and a punt return from touchdown, so that was really good for the Jets. 27-20, both teams now have 2 wins on the year. I don't remember completely what the records are. I should go back to it, but I'm not going to. Yeah, because we'll probably take a look at the standings later on anyway. But yeah, no, big win for the Jets. I think that those are games that they end up losing, but special teams came in clutch and they got it done. Speaking of games that I was shocked by, the New Orleans Saints went on the road to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, who just came off a win over the Green Bay Packers, they fell 17-7 to the New Orleans Saints, who are now 2-8 on the year. Tyler Shuck threw 2 touchdowns, 282 yards, and a touchdown to Chris Olave of all people. Panthers, their only touchdown came from Rico Dowdle, and of course, that's the case. Alvin Kamara had a pretty decent game, but Jawan Johnson and Chris Olave caught the 2 touchdowns. Yeah, no, big win for the Saints. They get a divisional win. That's what they're looking for. Tyler Shuck gets his first career win. Yeah, I think he's pretty happy with that. Not bad, not bad. We're gonna head over to a really big game. The Patriots, they took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. They ended up beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-23 on the road. Drake May looked like a man possessed. He threw 2 touchdowns, an interception, 270 yards. Baker Mayfield still had a great game, 273 yards himself. One of those, and 3 touchdowns, one of them to Mika Egbuka. The real star, I think, of the show, which, I mean, they all the rookies played really good. I know Tez Johnson had 2 touchdowns. Travion Henderson, 14 carries for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really, really big performance. I think that they finally beat a team that everybody was saying, hey, I don't know if they're beating anybody for real just yet. They did it. They did it on Sunday. Will that continue? I guess time goes on and we'll see how it goes. But Patriots right now look like a contender, and we might be back in the 2000s, which I don't like. The Ravens, they are on the road to the Minnesota Vikings, and they will take down the Minnesota Vikings 27-19. A really, really big game for them. Lamar Jackson, he threw for 176 yards and a touchdown. J.J. McCarthy, 20 for 42, 248 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The touchdown was to Jalen Naylor. Over there on the receiving side, it looks like it was Mark Andrews who caught the touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry ran for another 75 yards. Justice Hill got a touchdown himself. Yeah, really weird scoring over here. But either way, Ravens are getting themselves back in the driver's seat. They're 4-5 on the year. So are the Vikings. But yeah, the two purple teams they faced off. Ravens got the job done. Alrighty, who is next? Looks like we have the Buffalo Bills. They went on the road to the Miami Dolphins and got absolutely spanked. The Dolphins won 30-13. Bills' offense looked absolutely horrible. And the Dolphins, on the other hand, played really good football. Even though I didn't think Tua was that impressive, I think he was like 15 for 21. So at least he was accurate. Jalen Waddle scores himself a touchdown. Josh Allen still threw for 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. His defense was just absolutely atrocious. James Cook only got 53 yards. Davon Achane on the other side, 174. Jalen Waddle with the tutty. Yeah, no, really not a great start for them. Touchdown to Keon Coleman, who I didn't start him in fantasy this week, so that's not a surprise at all. That happened, but yeah, Miami got themselves a win, and that's a big one for them because they have not been able to beat that monkey off their back for a while. They finally get a victory. Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington catch a touchdown. Malik Washington is not fumbling the ball on the goal line. Yeah, that's a pretty solid win for them. We're going to go over to another game that New York Football Giants took on the Chicago Bears. Another blown lead by the New York Football Giants. They head into that fourth quarter, and if I remember correctly, they were up 17-10 or 20-10. No, it was only 17-10, and the Bears scored 14 points in the final quarter, and yeah, they blew it again, which I know kind of is on the defense. Touchdown to Rome Odunze by Caleb Williams. Jackson Dart, he threw 242 yards. Still played really, really well, but you got to put him away. That's really moral of the story. You got to put them away, and they just did not do that, and that's why they're sitting at still 2 wins. The Bears are celebrating. I believe they're sixth on the year. Yeah, no, really, really big loss for them. The Jaguars, they decided to go on the road to Houston and decided to give them a win as Houston wins 36-29 based off of a last-second pick six by the defensive lineman. The Jaguars were ahead for 95% of the game, it felt like, and the Texans just started marching back. Jacksonville took an absolute. That's a tough loss, and some of it was, and you have to blame Trevor Lawrence a little bit for it. 158 yards. It really isn't enough. Etienne he ran for 58 yards and a touchdown. Old Woody Marks 63 yards, a touchdown. Davis Mills threw 2 touchdowns and an interception off of 292 yards. Yeah, that's a tough one for the Jaguars because they're real deal contenders and they just couldn't get it done. But I don't think the Texans are complaining. They're pretty happy. Another one for them. They're fourth on the year, I believe it was. The Seahawks. They were at home to the Arizona Cardinals, and they beat the the Arizona Cardinals 44-22. There was not really a point in this game where I thought it was very close. Zach Darnold threw his touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jacoby Brissett, he went 22 for 44, 258 yards, 2 tutties, one of them to Trey McBride. Zach Charbonnet had himself a touchdown as well. For the Seattle Seahawks, the rushing game really was not the important part over there. For the Cardinals, they did throw a touchdown to Trey McBride, and I believe the other one was to old Marv Harrison Jr., who he's starting to catch some touchdowns, so I think that's the important part. George Holani, I remember he had the touchdown as well. I'm trying to remember his name. Yeah, Seattle did what they're supposed to do. 7th win on the year for them. Huge W. They keep things rolling in the NFC West. The Cardinals, after beating Dallas, I didn't know what to expect, and they kind of were they were kind of who I thought they were, to be honest with you. And we let them off the hook. The Detroit Lions went on the road to the Washington Commanders, a rematch from the playoffs, and Detroit absolutely smacked them. Jared Goff threw 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs ran 2 touchdowns. J-Mo with 119 yards through the air. Traylon Burks was the leading receiver over there in Washington. What a surprise that was. 3 receptions, 58 yards. Gibbs, 142 yards on the ground there for Detroit. Jameson Williams, Amon Ra, touchdown. And Jahmyr Gibbs also caught one through the air. Huge game for Jahmyr Gibbs. Commanders, they still have some things to work on over there. Traylon Burks was their lead receiver, like I said, but that wasn't the big one. Their touchdowns went to Deebo Samuel and Ben Sinnott. Yeah, I don't know what to expect over there in Washington. They're not looking great right now. What can you do? The Los Angeles Rams were on the road to the San Francisco 49ers. They beat San Francisco 42-26. This game was also one of those that really was not close. That whole 3 o'clock schedule was just not really that great. But Mac Jones still had a pretty solid game, I believe. Yeah, he had 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. One of them, too, was to George Kittle. Thank you for the fantasy points. Matt Stafford threw 4 TDs. 2 touchdowns were also ran by Kyren Williams. Yeah, he was really spreading the ball around everywhere. Davante Adams caught a touchdown. Puka Nacua, Colby Parkinson, even Davis Allen, of all people. I didn't even know he still played football, so that's pretty impressive. Christian McCaffrey didn't run a lot, but he was doing a lot through the air, 66 yards through the air. Jawan Jennings with a touchdown. Luke Farrell also with a touchdown. Needs to get all the respect he can. Sky Moore got a reception for 18 yards. Nice to see that. And Kendrick Bourne, he obviously has had a couple games this year where he played pretty well. Either way, yeah, they're 6-4 on the year. I don't think the Seahawks, the 49ers are freaking out right now. The NFC is not looking particularly crazy strong. If they can get healthy, which unfortunately it's San Francisco, they will not be able to do so, they could really be a competitor. Unfortunately, that's just not how the cookie crumbles for them. The Pittsburgh Steelers were on the road to the Los Angeles Chargers, where the Chargers won 25-10, beating the Steelers. Steelers are 5-4 on the year. Obviously, we now know that the Ravens are hard charging towards them. Rodgers did not look great. Threw a touchdown, 2 interceptions on 161 yards. Metcalf only 35 yards. While Jay Herbo went 20 for 33, 220 yards on the air, through the air. One of those touchdowns was to your boy Ladd McConkey. Oh, only one of those touchdowns. And Kamani Vidal had a touchdown running the ball. Chargers won 25-10. 7-3 on the year. I would say that 10 wins probably gets you in the playoffs, so only 3 away for them. I think the Chargers definitely are very confident in themselves. Their defense has been playing incredibly well. Now, the beginning of the week started off really crap, so the end of the week obviously needed to be crap as well. The Philadelphia Eagles take down the Green Bay Packers 10-7 in Green Bay. Jalen Hurts with the touchdown to Devontae Smith, and Josh Jacobs gets one on the other side. But heading into the half, it was like 3-0. And I remember, the play call on 4th and 1 when the game was on the line was a shotgun run to the left, and it was just blown up in the backfield, causing Green Bay to lose the football game. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one, but I guess they had a idea there. Total yards in this game, 294 for the Eagles, 261 for Green Bay. It's really the most exciting thing I could talk about in that whole thing. I really wanted to look at the discrepancy there. Um, actually, real quick, while I'm up here looking, I've heard that the Browns and Jets game was actually kind of crazy in the yards, so I kind of wanted to take a look at it. Yeah, the Jets had 169 yards, 42 passing yards, and they still ended up winning that game 27-20. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. You look at the AFC East now. The Patriots take a commanding game and a half lead as they're 8-2. The Bills fall to 6-3. Dolphins and Jets both have 7 losses, but the Dolphins have one more win than the Jets. AFC North right now, yeah, the Steelers at 5-4, the Ravens at 4-5, Bengals at 3-6. Who Joe Burrow just did practice this week. It has at a limited point, but he is practicing. Cleveland Brown 2-7. The Indianapolis Colts are leading the AFC South at 8-2. Jaguars 5-4. Texans 4-5. And the Tennessee Losers are at 1-8. I'm sorry, the Tennessee Titans. We head to the AFC West, where the Broncos 8-2. LA Chargers are 7-3. I almost called them San Diego again. And the Chiefs are 5-4. Raiders are 2-7. You didn't hear the Chiefs, Titans, or the Bengals, I believe. They were all on bye. And in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys are 3-5. They were the last team on bye, if I remember correctly. Eagles were 7-2. The Cowboys are 3-5-1. Commanders 3-7, and the Giants 2-8. Yeah, it looks like a hard charge for the Eagles probably to have this thing knocked up at this point. Now, the NFC North, this is where things are exciting. The Lions and the Bears are both 6-3 on the year. Lions obviously beat down the Bears earlier this year, so they are a little bit above them. The Packers are 5-3-1. If it wasn't for that one tie in Dallas, and they would have won that one in overtime, we'd be talking about a 3-way tie. But either way, Minnesota Vikings are 4-5 on the year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are leading the NFC South at 6-3. The Carolina Panthers 5-5. The Atlanta Falcons at 3-6, and the Saints at 2-8. The NFC South is garbage apparently, but I like Tampa a lot, and I think Carolina's got a really good future if they keep things going in the right direction. Can't be losing to the Saints though, so they got to figure that out. But yeah, I know the NFC South looks pretty solid. And in the NFC West, which is a division that is absolutely insane right now, the Seattle Seahawks are 7-2, Rams 7-2, 49ers 6-4, and the Cardinals are 3-6. Seahawks and Rams will be battling for that one until the very end. But that is going to be it for the NFL recap as we recapped Week 10. If you did like what you saw, you should make sure to give a like, a comment, and a subscribe if you would like to. And I will see you all on the next video.